thank you all for joining us in celebration of this huge milestone in the construction of 3 modern schools for the children of Santa Clara Unified School District. The ribbon cutting of Abram Agnew Elementary School and Dolores Huerta Middle School. My name is Jennifer Dorico. I'm the Director of Communications and Community Engagement for Santa Clara Unified School District, also an alumni of our school district, and serving as your MC for today's event. This is an exciting time for our district, one that is well over a decade, I think over 15 years at this point, and it's only successful because of the contributions of so many on this stage and in the audience. In fact, too many to name today, literally hundreds of you. But know that we thank each and every one of you, even if we don't call you by name. As we begin the ceremony, we would like to recognize and introduce members of our stage and audience. Please hold your applause until the end. We have many people we'd like to acknowledge and thank, and we want to make sure we leave plenty of room for our special guest speaker at the end. I would first like to recognize and thank the many local officials who are joining us, including our special guest speaker, as I ask you to stand and wave when I call your name. Integral in the lobbying efforts for the purchase of this property from the state of California, joining us today, Senator Bob Wieckowski. Already not following directions, hold your applause. I know. Former San Jose Council member and Assembly member Kansan Chu. You guys are rebels out there. San Jose Mayor Sam Liccardo, Santa Clara Mayor Lisa Gilmore, and representing recognitions today, Tom Pike representing Congressman Rokana, Anurag Paul representing Assemblymember Alex Lee, and representing our locally elected school district officials is our school board. They've been on this journey from the moment it started for more than a decade. President Jody Muirhead, always the rebel. And trustees Jim Canova, Vicki Fairchild, Albert Gonzalez, Bonnie Lieberman, Andrew Ratterman, and here in spirit, trustee Dr. Michelle Ryan. You will also hear from our founding school principals, very exciting, Shanaz Wadwania, founding principal of Abram Agnew Elementary School, and Donnell Santag, founding principal of Dolores Huerta Middle School. And of course, our special guest speaker here with us today, Dolores Huerta. Next, I would like to ask all local elected officials who are in our audience with us today to please stand and wave. So many of you, thank you so much for joining us. We have city council members, county supervisors, and more. We also have a variety of other important guests in the audience, and I invite you to stand and wave as well, including our school district representatives and superintendent's cabinet members, our labor leaders, former district leadership who contributed to these schools. We have 2 of our previous chief business officials, and I believe Dr. Rose, our former superintendent, is also in the audience. There he is. And especially our bond projects department team, the entire team, led by Director Larry Adams, and a special shout out to Senior Project Manager Rochella Defensor of all 3 schools. Rochella, she's been my right-hand person planning these events on top of planning and building out 3 schools on this property. And she also was critical in helping us form the community tours that you will enjoy after this ceremony. Thank you so much. I would also like to recognize our retired superintendent, Dr. Stan Rose, who's in the audience. He's at the back with his wife. Stand and wave. Thank you for joining us. Also in attendance is our county superintendent, Dr. Marianne Duan. Thank you for joining us. And our construction partner representatives, many of you, from the LPA Architects, Swinnerton Builders, and several others. And finally, our students, families, staff, and community members who have been so incredibly supportive of these new schools, including those locally and at the state level who lobbied with us for the state to sell their property to us at a below market value so that we could build schools and parks on this land. Yes. The supporters, our community and voters who supported the bond measures that funded the purchase of the land and the construction, the members of our bond oversight committees, our bond campaign committees, our school naming committee members, our Santa Clara Schools Foundation, and Silicon Valley CTE Superintendent Alyssa Lynch, just to name a few. Thank you all so much for joining us as we welcome you to our ribbon cutting ceremony today. And I'd like to welcome everybody, one big round of applause. Thank you so much for joining us. And now, I'd like to welcome up to the podium to share some remarks, Superintendent Dr. Stella M. Kemp.
Wow, I can't believe that I'm standing here today looking at these beautiful 22nd century schools. What a dream it is for the Santa Clara Unified School District community, this part of San Jose and Santa Clara, to have such a gift for our students and for their future. Today we're here to celebrate Abram Agnew Elementary School and Dolores Huerta Middle School. And just last spring, in spring of 2020, I remember that we were here for the final beam signing. And at that time, it looked much like the high school over there, just beams, no windows. And we were imagining what this place would look like with the windows and the plumbing and the electricity. And we knew before us that we were thinking about the landscaping and the hiring of teachers, and our principals were busy working on the instructional program that would fill this and turn these buildings into a school. Because these are just simply buildings. The school is filled with the individuals who show up every day and make their presence and create Agnew Elementary and Huerta Middle School. They design the instructional program and lead our children to the futures that we imagine. Today in the audience, we have our principal for our new high school, Dr. Vivian Ronley. And we have Miss Kathleen McDonald, for which our high school is named. And these three schools together comprise the future of Santa Clara Unified and encompass Vision 2035, the vision for our school district, which is to create students and graduate students who are resilient, future-ready, lifelong learners, who think critically, solve problems collaboratively, and are prepared to thrive in a global society. All three schools, but these schools that we're opening this year embody that vision. When you visit our classrooms, you will see spaces that rival those of our industry leaders that are here in the Silicon Valley. Places where people collaborate, where they develop solutions to real-world problems, and regardless of whether the children's aspirations are to live and work in the tech field, whether they want to enter into other industries such as culinary arts, they will develop the mindsets and skills to be resilient and future leaders of our community. And we hope that they continue to thrive as the other students here in Santa Clara do. On behalf of the generations of students who come after you, the children who are here, we thank you for being here and enjoy the day. And now I'd like to welcome up Board President Jody Muirhead.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning. There we go, we'll try it again. Good morning, everyone. Good morning. So wonderful to have you all here. To me, this is like Christmas morning. We've been waiting for years to open up these packages, and here we are opening our new schools. It's just amazing to me. So I am Jody Muirhead, President of the Board of Trustees for Santa Clara Unified. And on behalf of my fellow trustees who are joining me here today, I'd like to welcome all of you for this ribbon cutting ceremony for these two beautiful and innovative schools that we have here, Abram Agnew Elementary, Dolores Huerta Middle Schools. Building a school from the ground up is never an easy task, and opening two schools during a pandemic, so many times harder. But we've persevered through it all because of the importance of investing in our community as it has grown from the farms of years ago to the businesses and homes of today. We couldn't have accomplished this without the help of a lot of people. Some of them you see on this stage with me, including my fellow trustees who believed, like I did, that this accomplishment would be possible. We had to say yes, and it's so important for our students and families. Thank you also to the many, many people who helped that are out here in our audience and out in our community. You saw the necessity of these schools and voted for Measure H 2010 to provide the money to purchase the land these schools sit on, and Measure H 2014, which provided the funds to build these schools and fill them with the necessary furniture, technology, and supplies that are needed to educate our students. I am so excited. I can't tell you how excited I am to be here today and to open our doors to our Agnew Golden Eagles and our Huerta Hawks. I'd now like to pass the microphone on to Trustee Jim Canova.
In 1996, Paul Perotti, our former superintendent, said to me that the future growth of Santa Clara Unified School District was going to be right here in North San Jose, Alviso, and North Santa Clara. And his words were prophetic. He made the first installment towards that with the building of the Don Calajon K-8 school, which is not far from this campus. But we knew that we would have to build multiple schools, and we knew that we would have to build them in the city of San Jose. We started our conversations, and I'll always be grateful to my fellow trustee, Andy Ratterman, because he was part of those conversations with the city of San Jose. This will give you an idea of the breadth of time here. Those first conversations were with Mayor Ron Gonzalez. And they moved on to Chuck Reed, and we're so blessed to have Mayor Liccardo here today. It's wonderful to have you to celebrate this with us today. As you know, Santa Clara Unified covers multiple cities. We're also blessed to have Mayor Lisa Gilmore with us as well. And Santa Clara has been so supportive of seeing this through, seeing these schools to get built. I was thinking about some of the comments that were made. Larry Adams had made a suggestion to me not too long ago. There's so many names that we have to thank. And his suggestion was somewhere on this campus we need to have that history saved, where it talks about this beautiful long story that has brought these schools into reality. And we need to have that to honor everyone, because there's no way all of us are going to be able to cover everyone we should thank, but I'll try very quickly. We went through a process where we had to compete for this land with developers from as far away as Beijing, China. The notion of a school district acquiring land and building schools in the Silicon Valley in the 21st century seemed impossible. But we went to our voters with multiple bonds, and the voters supported us each and every time. Key people made those bonds successful, like Tim Towers and Jim and Kathy Van Pernis. Without them, those bonds could not have been successful, and countless others, and countless others. When you consider what you've seen here on the tour, and we were fortunate to do the tour with Rochella, who I will tell Mayor Liccardo has been referred to as a mayor here, so you two need to kind of work that out. But you see the passion and the love and the devotion to detail in this campus. I want to close and I'm going to introduce two guardian angels as I close, because my introduction is for them. Many guardian angels came along the way for us. But if a time traveler had come to me in 1996, someone from the future, and showed me this, the dream that was launched in 1996 to build these schools in North San Jose. And this day with Dolores Huerta with us today, these schools, this campus, all the names, all the people that have made this reality. If that was painted to me by a time traveler, I would have said impossible. And so what I would like to say to our principals, to Stella, let's all make a promise that the students who attend these schools dream impossible dreams, because these schools were an impossible dream. And they are a testament to the fact that impossible dreams are actually very, very possible. And in fact, really, impossible dreams are the only way we change this world. And now I'm going to close out and introduce two guardian angels. Already mentioned by Jennifer. We had Kansan Chu originally on the City Council, later representing us in the Assembly, who has fought with us every step of the way. We have Bob Wachowski, who started in the Assembly and now represents us in the State Senate, who has never left our side. I say this most sincerely, without these two guardian angels, we wouldn't be here today. This would not be happening. So with that, may I introduce to you two guardian angels.
How in the world do you respond to being an angel? My goodness gracious. Thank you, Jim Canova. 29 years with the Santa Clara Unified School District. There's a guy that we need to give a big thank you to. So 8.5 years ago, the Santa Clara Unified District approached me to introduce legislation in the state to get the State Department of General Services to reach an agreement with the district and San Jose on the sale of this site. And we can tell war stories about that, which was at the time deemed surplus state property. It has been a long journey. I think I used the word cajole with former Mayor Reed and the Director of Department of General Services, but it's been ultimately a successful journey. Transforming this site to 21st century schools provides, as we all know, that next generation and a generation of Santa Clarans with an outstanding opportunity to advance their education. It marks the rebirth of this site also, but a continuation of the pioneering spirit that brought Abram Agnew to Santa Clara Valley almost 150 years ago, but it's also, and it's so fitting to honor him today, but just as we honor another California pioneer, a farm worker rights and equal justice, the great Dolores Huerta. So it's my honor to present a certificate from the state of California to founding principal Wawania and founding principal Santang of Agnew and Dolores Huerta Middle School. So congratulations, guys.
Gotta make sure Philippa, my right-hand person, let's give her a hand. Philippa is from my office. Philippa, did you get it? Okay, you got it? She got the photo. Okay. I gotta look and see where she is. Next, I would like to invite up some former Assembly member and City Councilmember Kansan Chu, our second guardian angel.
Thank you, Jennifer. Thank you for the introduction. Thank you for including a former elected officials in this ceremony. I'm very happy and honored to be here. I've been working on this project for a good 15 years. And it's been said before, and it's proven again, if the leader has a good vision and the different levels of government and agency, we all work together, anything is possible. So I'm very, very happy to be here with all of you and the community members. I want to thank everybody who has involved in this project, from day one or maybe even before my time on the council to make it possible today. I want to specifically thank the San Jose Redevelopment Agency, because this was an RDA area, and I worked very closely with the RDA to make it happen. And also the North San Jose Task Force members, which I chair with Dan, the council member Sam Lacado, and that consists of 26 community members, including one of our Director Santos in the audience. And besides Director Santos, we have labor, we have the chamber, we have the bicycle coalition, we have the resident of North San Jose, the landowner of North San Jose, and developer of San Jose. So we really have a very big group of citizen task force. We came out with the North San Jose neighborhood plan. I understand now it's folded into the San Jose 2030 general plan. So I wanted to also extend my deepest appreciation to all the members of North San Jose Task Force. We met about at least twice a month for the good 18 months to complete this plan and call for elementary school, middle school, high school, and join agreement with San Jose to develop a park next door. I'm really looking forward to the grand opening of the San Jose Park. With that, I want to congratulate the Santa Clara Unified School District and definitely wish all the students and the school, the teachers, the faculty have a very good, safe, successful academic years to come. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Senator Wieckowski and Mr. Chu. Now I welcome to the podium San Jose Mayor Sam Liccardo.
Well, good morning. Good morning. It's a tall order to follow a couple guardian angels. I'm going to do my best. And I want to thank them for their work and really thank so many who have labored for so many years to make this impossible dream a reality. I'm merely the beneficiary as a mayor who gets to show up and cut a ribbon. But of course, there were many, many folks who've been working so hard, and you've heard so many of their names already. But I just do want to call out in particular this incredible Santa Clara Unified School Board. We are grateful certainly for the leadership of Jody Muirhead, the president, but also Jim Canova and Andy Ratterman, who of course been here for so many years and were deeply engaged in this from the very beginning. Thank you, the entire board. And thank you to Dr. Stella Kemp. Thank you for inviting me along here. I was ribbed on the way in by Senator Wieckowski. We need to get that park started. Apparently we got to get the park started. So we're going to get the park started. Thank you, Senator. I mentioned there were many folks before me. I want to call out in particular Mayor Chuck Reed and previously Council Member Chuck Reed, and somebody who worked very closely with both Chuck and I, that is Rue Viracun, who's just been a great champion for lots of wonderful development in this city. There's nothing we can be more proud of, though, than what we see here. Isn't this beautiful? And finally, it's pretty cool that Dolores Huerta is here, isn't it? How cool is that? So, you know, there's been a lot of debate about statues and who we honor in our history over the last couple of years, and appropriately so. There's been a real reckoning. Because who we identify as our heroes says a lot about who we are as a community, about what we value and who we value. And I know there's an appropriate amount of vetting going on right now about some statues in our city and lots of other cities in this country. But I'm pretty confident that Dolores Huerta is going to stand the test of time. I'm not an expert in assessing teachers, but I know we've got a few younger experts here that are running around playing on the field. And I'm pretty sure if you ask most 5 or 6 year olds what are the critical elements, first, is he or she nice? That's, I think, a pretty important criterion. And in some form or another, you'll hear something like, does my teacher care about me? And teachers, after all, are our greatest heroes, doing the most important work in our community. And I wanted to say a word about Dolores Huerta because I know she spent a little time as a teacher, actually, early on in her career. As I understand, she decided that she was tired of seeing young children showing up in her class hungry. And she decided that she needed to do something about that so that her children could really learn. So clearly Dolores Huerta demonstrated early on in her career decisions that she was a person who cared deeply about the children and the families she was serving. Now the question is she nice? And Dolores is not going to know this. I'm going to surprise her with this because I'm sure she won't remember. But I was probably 5 or 6 years old when I first met Dolores Huerta. And my mom, whose maiden name is Aceves, we're descendants of Mexican immigrants who worked in mines here in San Jose. And my mom and dad routinely worked with a friend of Dolores named Ramona and a number of Catholic priests who were deeply involved in the social justice movement in the early 70s. And so that meant we often had people coming over to our house. Sometimes those people stayed overnight if they needed a place to stay. My dad would get dragged into he was a lawyer, so he'd get dragged into different cases whenever Cesar Chavez said, we think it's important, we need a lawyer here. So we kind of knew our role, did whatever we could to support. And so I just know one day that my mom said, we're going to have somebody incredibly important coming over to our house tonight for dinner. And at 5 or 6, you don't really know exactly what important means other than, are they going to bring ice cream? But I know at the time my mom, made it clear to me, this is the closest thing we've got in this country to royalty, and that's Dolores Huerta. And I remember very well the most important criterion as a 5 or 6 year old, that she was very nice. That's important. It wasn't until many years later that I learned why she's so incredibly important to our community and to our country. And so I just wanted to say honored I am to be here today when we honor someone who's been a great champion for so many. Thank you, Dolores, and thank you all.
And next, I welcome to the stage, the podium rather, Santa Clara Mayor Lisa Gilmore.
Good morning, everyone. It's wonderful to be here in the city of San Jose, supporting the Santa Clara Unified School District. Yay! I'm really pleased to be here with my fellow council members, Councilmember Watanabe, I see Councilmember Jane and Councilmember Becker as well. But on behalf of the city of Santa Clara, we are so proud of the accomplishment that has taken so many years from the Santa Clara Unified School District and the opening of these 2 schools. This is one of those days we're going to remember always. We are actually in the presence of, you want to call them legends, heroes, angels, Dolores Huerta. I am so honored to be in your presence today, Dolores. At Kathleen McDonald, I know your school's coming next year, but I'm honored to be in your presence as well. This has been a long journey for the school district, and I remember as far back as many superintendents, Superintendent Dr. Plow, Dr. Rose, Dr. Kemp. It's had many school board members, but some of the ones that have been here for a long time, Jim Canova, Andy Routerman, Jody Muirhead, you have all put in so much work to make this happen. And I know it's so easy for us to come up, as the mayor of San Jose said, to come up and cut a ribbon. It's just so easy, but there has been so much that has gone into this that we are grateful for so many people. Teresa O'Neill, who chaired some of the bond campaigns, without the money, this wasn't gonna happen. So I wanna say, it took a village. This is our village here. This is what it took to get this happen, and I want to be grateful for the people that are not here that had such a huge role in making this happen. This campus, these campuses are better than some college campuses I have seen. They're incredible, incredible. And I just want to be here for the first day of school when these students walk in and they see the facilities and the money and the time and the effort and the care that went into further their education. It's going to make them so proud for the community that really cares about them. So again, on behalf of the City of Santa Clara, I want to say thank you. Thank you, school board. Thank you, school district. Thank you, City of San Jose. Thank you, everyone that had a hand in making this happen today. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And next are our representatives who bring additional special recognitions to present to our school district and principals. First, Tom Pike, representing Congressman Ro Khanna.
Hi everyone, thank you for being here this morning. Congressman Khanna is in Washington at the moment, but he's going to fly in tomorrow night, and one of the first things he's going to do Monday is to tour these two schools. I know he's excited to do that, and after I toured them this morning, I know he's going to be really excited because I'm going to report what an amazing place this is. As a father, I know that I can compare the schools that I've gone to, that my children have gone to, and this is really an amazing two facilities. In the meantime, on the Congressman's behalf, I would like to congratulate Superintendent Kemp, the SCUSD trustees, all the teachers and administrators, Dolores Huerta, the community which advocated for these schools, school parents, and most importantly, the students and future students of these schools. I myself started a brand new school when I was in 3rd grade, and I can tell you from personal experience that was really cool. I remember it even to this day. And you students, and I can hear them and see them all throughout here, you're going to have a great time learning here. Go Hawks and go Eagles. And with that, I would like to present 2 congressional certificates of pre-certificates of recognition to Superintendent Kemp and the principals of Agnew Elementary and Huerta Middle School. Thank you.
Next, we have Honorable Paul, representing Assemblymember Alex Lee.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Anurag Pal, representing Assemblymember Alex Lee, who represents the 25th District, which encompasses Santa Clara, North San Jose, Milpitas, Fremont, and Newark. And also, I just want to thank Dr. Kemp and all the board members for inviting our office. Also, just a personal plug, it's good to be in the presence of my former boss, Kansan Chu. Bob Wachowski interned for him, and Mayor Ricardo interned for him. So it comes full circle. On behalf of Assemblymember Alex, he couldn't be here today due to personal scheduling conflict. But on behalf of him, I'm here to present a certificate of recognition to the founding principal of both schools. And one fun thing I want to mention is this is the newest. This is the newest. No one, but 2 newest schools in our 25th district. Previous honor was hosted by Mabel's Meadows and Milpitas. And it's always a great day when you have 1 school opening in your district. It's an awesome day when you have 2 opening in your district. So thank you for everybody who made this possible. And I would like to present this certificate to the founding principal. Thank you.
have some really special guest speakers coming up. I'm so thrilled to introduce you to our founding principals, who will share with you special details about the schools, from the design that was inspired by our local environment around us here in Santa Clara Valley, to their school names and mascots, to the innovative teaching and learning practices they envisioned and are building out here with their teams. Please welcome founding principal of Abram Agnew Elementary School, Shanaz Warwania, and founding principal of Dolores Huerta Middle School, Donnell Sontag.
Good morning and welcome. The day has finally come when we are ready to open the doors of the schools that have been a long-awaited dream of this community. The dream of future-ready and innovative K-12 schools is coming close to fruition today. It will be close to fruition next year when we'll have all three up and running. Our learners are one step closer to achieving their hopes and for the future because of what they will experience here, thanks to this community.
When we started planning for our schools, we quickly decided that we needed to design schools that were aligned to Vision 2035, schools that would realize the dream of graduating students who were resilient, future-ready, lifelong learners who think critically, solve problems collaboratively, and are prepared to thrive in a global community.
So we knew that we wouldn't be able to do this alone, and we formed a school design team. Anybody here from the school design? Yeah. By bringing together an amazing group from representatives from elementary, middle, high schools, and teachers, support staff, administrators, to make Vision 2035 and design a K-12 instructional framework. All members of the design team share our passion for meaningful, innovative, and relevant education that fosters social emotional well-being, intellectual curiosity, independent thinking, and an equitable and just mindset.
Students, equity, and agency are at the core of our program design and decision-making. And with social justice as one of the key dimensions of our instructional framework, we are focused on deliberately and systematically dismantling the inequities that plague our educational system. Our design principles include flexible, inquiry-based, interdisciplinary teaching and learning experiences that are grounded in competency-based, personalized learning.
The beautiful buildings that you see are part of the vision of creating flexible learning spaces where collaboration can happen anywhere and where learning is not restricted within the four walls of a classroom. The foresight in design and planning did not take long to become a reality. The pandemic has brought a new meaning to the design of these spaces. The open, flexible spaces, once thought of as a luxury for many of the schools, have now become a necessity for us among this pandemic situation. We are confident that these learning spaces will provide safety, security for our students' physical and social emotional well-being, and will also provide the intellectual stimulation needed to be experimental and innovative.
When the architects for these new schools first visited this site, they looked around for inspiration and they found it in the environment. They saw the grasslands at their feet, the woodlands low on the horizon, and the forests on the mountain peaks surrounding our valley. The architects incorporated these ideas into the design of the building and the landscape. Because all three schools are on the same 55-acre campus, we felt that it was important to have connected mascots. And in order to honor the vision of the original design, we chose birds that can be found in our local, regional, and state environments. Our mascots are the Agnew Golden Eagles and the Huerta Hawks.
So the meaning behind these mascots is also very important to us. Golden Eagles, native to the area, are found nested in the low rolling hills and oak woodland. They hold great significance in the tradition of the Ohlone tribe and are considered sacred within the Native American cultures. Golden eagles represent honesty, truth, majesty, strength, courage, wisdom, power, and freedom.
Hawks are found on every continent except Antarctica. They can often be found soaring above the skies of our school and prefer open habitats such as grasslands and the nearby oak woodlands. They are considered a symbol of strength, courage, and intelligence, and they represent honesty, clear vision, and adaptability.
Our diverse cadre of teachers, make your presence known. Where are you? We cannot do this without you. Our diverse cadre of teachers has put in countless hours to unpack and align their practices with our school's vision and to make sure that even as we are still emerging from this pandemic situation, our students get world-class learning experience for which this community aspires.
5 days from now, we will see this place come alive with students, many of whom will be stepping into a school for the first time in 18 months. Our teachers and staff cannot wait to welcome them and their families.
We thank our district leadership and this community, the community members, for placing their trust in our ability to make your dream become a reality. Thank you.
Thank you.
And before I introduce our next guest, I do want to say we do have community tours that are slated to start at 11:30. Don't worry if we go over, we will start a few minutes late on those tours. If you give guest speakers a microphone and an agenda, I'm just kidding. I just didn't want anybody to worry. We don't need to start your tour time. We'll start tours at about 11:45 if we need to move over for that. Okay, well, thank you so much. It was wonderful, Donnell and Shanaz, to hear from you. Thank you so much for sharing the vision for your schools with our community. And gosh, they are amazing leaders. It's just been wonderful to work with you on this opening and just hear so much about your vision. So thank you for sharing that with us today. Now, it is my humble honor to introduce our special guest speaker for which this amazing middle school learning environment was named, Dolores Huerta. Dolores Huerta is president and founder of the Dolores Huerta Foundation. She is a celebrated Latina labor leader, activist, and community organizer. She has worked for civil rights and social justice for over 50 years. In 1962, she and Cesar Chavez founded the United Farm Workers Union. She served as vice president and played a critical role in many of the union's accomplishments for 4 decades. In 2002, she received the Puffin Nation $100,000 prize for creative citizenship, which she used to establish the Dolores Huerta Foundation. The foundation is connected to groundbreaking community-based organizing, to state and national movements to register and educate voters, advocate for education reform, bring about infrastructure improvements in low-income communities, and advocate for greater equality for the LGBTQ+ community, and create strong leadership development. She has received numerous awards, among them the Eleanor Roosevelt Human Rights Award from President Clinton in 1998, and in 2012, President Obama bestowed Dolores with the Presidential Medal of Freedom, the highest civilian honor in the United States. She is a former University of California regent and has earned honorary doctorates from universities throughout the United States. Please welcome to the microphone Dolores Huerta, founder and president of the Dolores Huerta Foundation.
Thank you.
Thank you so very much, and I do want to thank everybody here today, especially the Board of Trustees here for choosing my name to name this magnificent school, all of the dignitaries here that have made it happen. I know that it took over a decade to make this possible. The senator said something about this is like an impossible dream. And it really shows what it takes to create an impossible dream, like this incredible, incredible school that we're dedicating here today. When we think about who are the most important individuals in our society, we have to say our children are the most important individuals in our society. But we have been amiss in not being able to give the resources to provide them with the equality education that they deserve. And this is so important when we think about this, that we have a lot of money that goes into the military, into defense, into so many other areas, and education is always lagging. This has to change. This has to change. You know, Franklin Delano Roosevelt, during World War II, when they had to pay for the war, and they wanted to take money out of the libraries and out of education, and he said, no, we will not take one dime out of our educational system or our libraries, because education is the soul of our nation. Education is the soul of our nation. And we have seen what happens when we do not have an adequate, equitable, and I'm going to add the word ethnic education in our school systems. We have seen what happens. And we know that this has to change, but in order to change that, we need to get the resources that our teachers need. Here we have a model, we have an example when everybody came together and said, you know, they had to go through so much, getting a bond issue for the electorate to approve it, doing the legislative effort that our senator just told us about. But they all came together to make it, and then the designer said, we're going to design this school for the kids, okay? They are the important ones that we're going to design the school for the kids. So when we see this, I know all of us are thinking, I wish I could have gone to this school. We're all thinking that right now. So we do see that something like this is possible, and then that we can make it happen. You know, the other thing about education, there was a Spanish philosopher, Jose Ortega y Gasset. He was a Spanish philosopher on education before the time of Franco, the dictator in Spain. And in his book that he wrote, The Revolution of the Masters, he said, if we do not have an educated citizenry, then government will be ruled by the corrupt and the powerful. We will be ruled by the corrupt and the powerful. And this is such an important lesson, because if our citizens and residents of our country do not get an adequate education, when it comes to civic education, the importance of being engaged in civic life, the importance of knowing how the legislature works, how the Congress works, how people get elected to office, how they have to be held accountable. If people do not know this, then we get the kind of governance that we do not want. We get the kind of governance that thinks that education should be at the bottom of the barrel instead of at the top. And this is some of the things that we have to change. We've got to make sure that education is number one, that our teachers have the salaries that they deserve. I mean, I'm speaking to you from the Central Valley of California, where we have over 25 prisons that have been built, and one university, the University of Merced. When we have a budget in the state of California where the correctional officers get better wages than teachers do, and when the money that goes to these prisons is almost equal to our high school budget that we have. And I know the senator and some of them, they know what I'm talking about, okay? And so, this definitely has to change. We have got to hopefully, if we could make all of the future schools and this vision, this model vision of these schools here, if we could make that the standard, not only for California, but for the nation, okay? This is something that we have to really strive for. And I do want to advocate, I said the word ethic a little while ago, I do want to really say we've got to have ethnic studies, we've got to have women's studies, we've got to have gender studies, okay? And I mentioned civic studies earlier, but you know, here we are today, and we see this cloud of smoke that has been covering the sun, you know, a cloud of smoke because we have something called global warming. Global warming, and this is something that is going to threaten all humanity. And again, this is something that has to be taught in all of our schools, and so people can understand, you know, somehow we've got to change to green energy. Again, I'm coming from Bakersfield, California, in Kevin McCarthy's district, by the way, where we have all of the petroleum and the ag industry and the people that are in denial of what is happening to us on our planet. And so, again, we are the ones that have to make sure that we can change this. I just got back last night from El Paso, Texas. Got back into Bakersfield about 1 o'clock in the morning. And what was I doing in El Paso, Texas? On August the 3rd, 2 years ago, a young, deranged, white young man drove hundreds of miles to El Paso, Texas to kill 23 Mexican Americans and Mexican citizens from Mexico. Why did he kill them? Because they were Mexicans. That was the only reason. And so the city of El Paso, Chamber of Commerce and others got together and they built this beautiful memorial healing garden for them, to remember them, so they will not be forgotten. I'm sure many of you here did not even know that that happened. Because when I told people, you know, I'm going to go to this healing garden for 23 Mexican Americans, and people said, oh, you mean the farm workers? People that were killed, maybe in an accident? No, these were people that were shopping at Walmart that were killed. So how did that happen? How can we in our country produce people that have so much hatred in them that they will go out and kill people because they're Mexicans, or because they're Jews, or because they're Asians, or because they're blacks, or because they're Muslims, you know? How can we do that? In the richest country in the world, we who say we advocate for democracy, well, one of the reasons is our educational system. One of the reasons is our educational system. Where we stand here right now, which was the land of the Native Americans, that we have never said thank you, never compensated them for the land that we took. Our Native Americans today in the United States still live in dire poverty, and they do not have a good educational system. And of course, and I'd love to say to people, Google a map of the United States of America before 1848. It's a shocker when you see that a third of it was Mexico. You know? So on my dad's side, where my grandparents came from Mexico, you know what? In all of this land, we were Americans before the United States of America existed, okay? So we've got to incorporate all of this into our educational systems, and especially to teach people, yes, the White House and the Congress and many of the federal buildings and the land that was by the black slaves that were brought here to the United States of America. And we have so much to make up for our communities of color and immigrants that built this country. And we can do it, and we can start where? With our educational system. Our educational system is going to be, it's got to be the healer. It's got to be the healer of our country. Again, and it just, not just here in the United States, because what we do here it transcends throughout the entire world, so that we could teach respect for every human being. And, this is going to be such a great, beautiful place, because it is going to be the model for justice. And the children that learn here, they're going to be the leaders that are going to make it happen. And they will elect the kind of representatives that we have here on the stage today, okay? So we can make it happen. So thank you so much. I feel extremely honored to have this beautiful, beautiful middle school named after me. And I know that we all feel very blessed today just to be here in this important event. So thank you very much. But before I leave, I'm going to ask you a question, okay? And I do this every time that I speak. Because the one thing that we have to remember is that, and this is what organizing is about. When we organize people and we go to the lowest income people, the poorest people to organize, like the farm workers. And we always say to them, we can change our situation. If you don't like the way that your community is being governed, that you can change it. And we have to remember that. And we also have to remember this, that we can't wait for somebody else to do it. We can't wait for somebody else to do it. If you do not step up, if you do not engage, if you do not commit your resources of your time or whatever little money that you have, it will not change. So it's up to you. You can't wait for somebody to come and do it for you. We have seen a beautiful example of everyone that came together to make this beautiful school possible. And the teachers that are going to go forward, and implement the peace and justice that is needed in our society. And of course, we also want to remember the workers, right? The workers that built the school, and the workers that are going to have to continue to maintain the school. CSEA, got their back, right here. Okay, so I'm going to end with a question, okay? And I know you know the answer. Can we do whatever we can to improve our educational system throughout the state of California, throughout the country? What do we say? We say, si se puede, right? So, but I'm gonna ask you another question. So I'm going to ask you, who's got the power to do it? And I want you to say, we've got the power. So I'm gonna say, who's got the power? I want you to say, we've got the power. And when I say what kind of power, I want you to say people power. Okay, can we do that? Okay. Who's got the power? We got the power. Okay, let's do it one more time because some people aren't quite sure. Okay. One more time. Who's got the power? We got the power. What kind of power? People power. Okay, so we're going to go out there and work as hard as we can. We're going to support the representatives that work for us. Okay, we're going to do whatever we can. Oh, and by the way, no on the recall. ¿Se puede o no se puede? Okay, let's do it all together with an organized hand clap. Let's go. Sí, se puede. Muchas gracias. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you so much. I am so honored.
Making the MC cry before I come back up here. Woo! Gosh, how amazing was that? Well, now is the time. Everybody get your cameras ready. It's ribbon cutting time! We are going to take several posed group photos with the ribbon. With the big scissors before we actually cut, so those with the scissors do not cut until I tell you to. Please bear with me as we move the podium and I call our different groups. We're going to have several groups invited up to stand at the bottom of the stage in front of those on stage. First, I'm going to arrange everyone up here. Scissors, Miss Huerta, if you can stand in the middle. And Principals Wadwani and Sontag on either side. You will hold the scissors. Very important job, President Muirhead and Dr. Kemp. On either side of our principals, we We got a swisher. Dr. Kemp before Senator Wajkowski there. You're gonna hold the ribbon very tight. You don't need to do it for the pose photos, but when we cut on the last photo, those scissors will cut the ribbon, but you have to hold the ribbon tight. And don't worry, we have backup scissors just in case. Board members and guest speakers, you'll fill in across the ribbon. I'm going to move the podium back. Our cameras can span the entire stage, so you are welcome to span across. Everybody has a front row standing space in front of the ribbon. Let me make sure I don't toss myself off the back here. All right. And continue to spread out numbers on the stage. From side to side, we have some room over here next to Mr. Trustee Canova. Remember, we're going to smile wide. Before I bring the first group up, if you can't see the camera, Philippa, can you wave? Can I see Philippa? Okay, she's right there. If you can't see Philippa's camera in the blue, she can't see you. Philippa, can you see everyone? I can. Okay. The boss says yes. Okay, now the first group that we're going to invite up to pose for a photo, all local elected officials who are present in our audience, please go ahead and make your way up to the floor of the stage in front of the ribbon. And because we have a water supervisor here, Richard Santos, city council members who are present, county supervisors. Anybody messy? Okay. Let me just take my binder off stage here so I'm not in the background. Okay. Everybody sorted. Okay, all of our elected officials, thank you so much for joining us today. We got our local San Jose Councilmember David Cohen's representative here as well. Thank you for joining us. Okay, on 1, 2, 3, keep those smiles coming. We're gonna stay smiling for awkwardly long. Keep smiling. Don't mind everybody staring at you. Keep smiling. Okay, we good, Philippa? Okay, wonderful. Thank you so much for joining us today. All of our photos will be placed onto our district's Flickr account, flickr.com/Santa Clara USD next week. Okay, our second group, all of our district cabinet members, so superintendent's cabinet, and our bond projects management team. Actually, any other district managers present? Come on up. I'm gonna get in that one too. I'd also like to invite up Dr. Rose and Dr. Duan. Mr. Dill, but let's get our CBOs and Mark Allgaier, former CBOs, Mr. Dill, Mr. Allgaier. You have him here? There you go. Right, come on. Philippa won't take the photo until I tell her to. Mr. Allgaier, here he is. One more. Okay. Will we do that, Philippa? Are we all in the frame? One more. Are you wanting to be in that? I'll put this down a moment. Couple heads? Okay. Okay. Jeff, do you mind moving to your right, sir? Any of these 3 seats are going to be in the way. Okay. Sorry. Okay, on 3. Keep smiling. 1, 2, 3. Okay, thank you so much. Okay, thank you everyone for joining us. Our third group, all of our Agnew staff. Agnew Elementary School staff are present. Teacher support staff. They are serving as docents for our tours today. If you didn't have a chance to sign up, please visit our booth after the ceremony and sign up for a tour. We're offering 30-minute tours each of Dolores Huerta Middle School and Agnew Elementary School. And their staff have graciously donated their time today to lead you excitedly on their tours. All right, we're going to have you stand all the way back. There you go. All right, Philippa, can you see? Any more Agnew staff? If you could please clear the aisle where the chairs are, that would be wonderful. Thank you so much. Okay. Okay. Good, Philippa? Okay, big smiles. 1, 2, 3. Hold the smiles. Keep holding them. You good? You good? Go, go, okay, and our next group, all Huerta staff. All Huerta staff that are present. Teachers, support staff. Come up and join us. Any other? There we go. Keep coming. Huerta staff. All right. Okay. Starting. Here we go. Philippa, you good? Armand. I took a selfie with him earlier. Okay. Good? Okay. On 3. 1, 2, 3. Big smiles. Hold those. Big smiles. You're good? Thank you. We're going to take 2 more. We're going to do 1 more photo and then the cut photo. Our next group, we're going to invite up all of our labor association leadership. We have CSEA and UTSC. Woo! Woo! Lynn. Patty. Is there a Michael Hickey here? Okay. Is that everyone? I'm looking at Amber and Lynn. Is that everyone? Okay. Okay, awesome. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Smile big. All right, thank you so much. All right, you guys, it's the moment. You guys ready with scissors? I'm going to hand someone some small scissors just in case. Principal Sontag, can I hand these scissors to you? Do you have a pocket somewhere? You're going to hold them just in case the red ones don't work. They should work. Okay. All right. We've got our VIPs up on stage. All right, we have Miss Huerta and the principal's holding the scissors. We're going to do a pose photo, and then we're going to cut, you guys. I'll let you know when to cut. So we've got Miss Huerta in the middle, principals Wadwani and Sontag. Dr. Kemp and President Muirhead, hold that banner tight. Very important job. Okay, we're going to smile big. All right, on 3, smile. We're not cutting yet. Pose it up. All right. Oh, you already started. Don't jump it. Okay, smile first. We're going to do pose photo. Smile, pose. 1, 2, 3. Hey, cameras in the front. We'll have them on flicker. I promise. Okay. I think those are our local media folks. Okay. Oh, not on the chair either. Here, you'll be in the. There you go. Okay. Okay, Philippa, you let me know when you're good. Smile. 1, 2, 3. Smile. 1. Very good. Okay, it's the moment. I want to make sure Marcus, our videographer, he's awesome. Marcus has got this on film. Philippa, we're going to cut you guys. On 3. 1, 2, 3. Cut! Congratulations to the Agnew and Huerta school communities. Have a wonderful first day of school next Thursday. Ms. Huerta and your family, we can't wait to have you come in our halls and see our children. This concludes our ceremony. We hope that you stay for refreshments and tours. If you haven't visited our booth to come see the inside, we'd love to show you. You do have to sign up for tours. If you can't stay today, you can also sign up for a future tour in September. Thank you for joining us. We look forward to seeing you at next year's ribbon cutting for Kathleen McDonald High School.